The Richat structure, Eye of the Sahara. Deep in the Sahara Desert sits a formation so massive and perfect that astronauts use it as a landmark when flying overhead. The Richat structure spans 30 miles across and looks exactly like a giant eye staring up from the desert floor. When space missions first spotted this circular wonder in the 1960s, scientists thought it had to be an impact crater from a massive asteroid. The perfect rings and circular shape seemed to prove that something from space had slammed into Earth millions of years ago. But when researchers finally reached the site, they found no melted rock or shocked minerals that always appear at impact sites. Instead, they discovered something far stranger. The eye is actually an ancient dome that was pushed up from deep underground over 100 million years ago. Wind and water slowly carved away the softer rocks while leaving the harder layers behind, creating those perfect circular ridges. What makes this even more mind-bending is that this process happened when the Sahara wasn't a desert at all. The local people call it the Eye of the Richat, and some believe it holds mystical powers. Scientists have found ancient stone tools around the structure, suggesting our earliest ancestors might have lived here when it was green and full of life. Sailing stones of Death Valley. In California's Death Valley, rocks weighing hundreds of pounds glide across the desert floor like ghosts in the night. These sailing stones leave perfectly straight trails behind them, some stretching over 1,500 feet long. For over a century, no one had ever seen them actually move. Visitors would arrive to find that massive boulders had somehow changed positions overnight, dragging mysterious furrows through the hard-packed mud. Scientists came up with wild theories to explain the movement. Some blamed powerful winds, others suggested magnetic fields, and a few even pointed to alien interference. The rocks only moved every few years, making them nearly impossible to study. Then, in 2014, researchers finally caught them in the act using time-lapse cameras. What they discovered shocked everyone. During rare winter storms, a thin layer of water covers the dry lake bed and freezes overnight into sheets of ice just millimeters thick. When morning sun begins melting this ice, it breaks into massive floating panels that get pushed by gentle breezes. These ice sheets act like bulldozers, slowly shoving the rocks across the slippery mud at speeds of up to 15 feet per minute. The whole process is so rare and quiet that it explains why no one had witnessed it before. Giant's Causeway. Along the coast of Northern Ireland, 40,000 stone columns rise from the sea like the pipes of a massive underground organ. Each column is perfectly hexagonal and fits together so precisely that ancient people believed giants had built a causeway to Scotland. The columns stand at different heights, creating a natural staircase that seems too perfect to be made by nature. Local legend says the giant Finn McCool built this bridge to fight his Scottish rival, but the real story is even more incredible. About 60 million years ago, intense volcanic activity split the supercontinent apart and created the Atlantic Ocean. Massive lava flows poured across the landscape, cooling slowly and evenly. As the molten rock contracted, it cracked in the most efficient pattern possible, hexagons. This same process creates the hexagonal shapes you see in dried mud or honeycomb. But here, it happened on a scale that staggers the imagination. The Giant's Causeway contains over 40,000 of these columns, each one formed by the same ancient volcanic event. Some columns reach 40 feet high, while others hide beneath the waves, creating stepping stones into the Atlantic Ocean. Moeraki boulders. On a remote beach in New Zealand, dozens of perfectly round stone spheres sit scattered across the sand like dragon eggs waiting to hatch. The Moeraki boulders range from tiny pebbles to massive stones over 6 feet wide and weighing several tons. Each boulder is almost perfectly spherical, with some showing intricate crack patterns that make them look like they're about to split open. For centuries, local Maori people believed these were the remains of food baskets from an ancient canoe that washed ashore. Scientists now know these boulders formed on the ocean floor millions of years ago, through a process called concretion. Minerals in the sediment slowly gathered around tiny pieces of shell or bone, building up layer by layer like pearls forming inside oysters. The process took millions of years and required perfect conditions to create such flawless spheres. As the coastline eroded, the softer mudstone around them washed away, leaving only these mysterious spheres behind. What makes them truly puzzling is how perfectly round they are. Nature rarely creates such geometric precision, yet here sit dozens of near-perfect spheres that look like they were carved by master sculptors. Antelope Canyon. Hidden beneath the Arizona desert lies a slot canyon so beautiful it seems carved by artists from another world. Antelope Canyon's walls flow like frozen waves, painted in shades of orange, red, and purple that shift and dance as sunlight filters down from above. The canyon is so narrow that in some places you can touch both walls with your outstretched arms, yet it plunges over 120 feet deep into the earth. The smooth, curved walls look like flowing water turned to stone. This underground masterpiece was carved by flash floods over thousands of years. During rare desert storms, water rushes through the narrow opening with incredible force, carrying sand that acts like liquid sandpaper. Each flood carved the walls a little smoother, a little deeper, creating the flowing shapes we see today. The different colors come from various minerals in the sandstone that get revealed as the water sculpts away each layer. The canyon's most famous feature is the way sunlight creates magical beams that seem to pour down like liquid gold. These light shafts only appear at certain times of day and year, making every visit a unique experience. Pamukkale. In Turkey, a hillside appears to be covered in frozen waterfalls that gleam white against the landscape. Pamukkale, meaning cotton castle in Turkish, consists of terraced pools filled with brilliant blue water that seems to defy gravity as it flows from one level to the next. These white limestone terraces look like giant bathtubs carved from pure marble, stretching up the mountainside in perfect steps. For over 2,000 years, people have believed these waters possess healing powers. The terraces formed over thousands of years as hot springs rich in calcium carbonate bubble up from deep underground. As the mineral-rich water flows down the slope, it deposits layers of white limestone that slowly build these natural sculptures. The process continues today, with each pool overflowing into the one below, constantly reshaping this natural wonder. The water maintains a constant temperature of 95 degrees Fahrenheit, making it feel like a natural spa. What makes Pamukkale truly extraordinary is its combination of geological processes and visual impact. The stark white terraces against the deep blue water create an almost alien landscape that has attracted visitors since ancient Roman times. Zhangye Danxia landforms. In China's Gansu province, mountains look like they've been painted with rainbow stripes by some cosmic artist. The Zhangye Danxia formations display layers of red, orange, yellow, green, and blue rock that sweep across the landscape in perfect bands. These rainbow mountains stretch for miles, creating a natural art gallery that seems too vibrant to be real. The colors shift throughout the day as sunlight hits the formations from different angles, making the mountains appear to glow from within. These incredible colors formed over 24 million years as different types of sediment were deposited in ancient lakes and rivers. Each colored layer represents a different time period with unique environmental conditions. Red layers formed during dry periods rich in iron oxide, while green layers came from times when the area was lush and wet. Geological forces then tilted and folded these layers, exposing the colorful cross-section we see today. The formations cover over 200 square miles and include towering pillars, deep valleys, and rolling hills, all painted in these impossible colors. Local weather patterns create morning mists that make the mountains appear to float like islands in a sea of clouds. Salar de Uyuni. Bolivia's Salar de Uyuni transforms into the world's largest mirror twice a year, creating one of the most surreal landscapes on Earth. This massive salt flat stretches over 4,000 square miles and sits at 12,000 feet above sea level, making it larger than some entire countries. During the dry season, the salt forms perfect hexagonal patterns that extend to the horizon like a giant honeycomb made of white crystal. But when thin layers of rainwater cover the salt during wet season, the entire landscape becomes a flawless mirror that reflects the sky so perfectly you can't tell where Earth ends and heaven begins. The salt flat formed when ancient lakes evaporated, leaving behind layers of salt up to 30 feet thick. Underneath this white desert lies over half the world's lithium reserves, making it crucial for modern technology. Local people harvest the salt using traditional methods, creating small pyramids that dot the landscape like white mountains. The area is so flat that NASA uses it to calibrate satellites, as there's virtually no variation in elevation across the entire expanse. What makes Salar de Uyuni truly magical is how it plays tricks with perspective and reality. During mirror season, people appear to walk on clouds, while flamingos seem to fly through both sky and water simultaneously. Giant's kettles. Scattered across Finland's rocky landscape are perfectly round holes that look like they were drilled by giant machines. These giant's kettles, or jettikatala in Finnish, are circular pits carved directly into solid bedrock with walls so smooth they appear polished. Some kettles are just a few feet wide, while others span over 30 feet across and plunge 60 feet deep into the rock. The precision of these formations is so perfect that early explorers thought they must be man-made, but they appear in places where no ancient civilization ever existed. These mysterious holes were actually carved by swirling water during the last ice age over 10,000 years ago. As massive glaciers melted, torrents of water rushed beneath the ice with incredible pressure. When this water hit obstacles, it began spinning violently, creating whirlpools that acted like natural drill bits. Stones and debris caught in these whirlpools ground against the bedrock for thousands of years, slowly boring these perfect circular holes. The process required very specific conditions: the right water pressure, the right rocks, and thousands of years of constant spinning. What puzzles scientists is how the water maintained such perfect circular motion for so long. The smoothness of the walls suggests the drilling process was incredibly consistent, creating these natural sculptures that look more like modern engineering than ancient geology. Chocolate Hills. In the Philippines, 1,776 nearly identical cone-shaped hills rise from flat plains like a massive field of green pyramids. During dry season, these hills turn chocolate brown, giving the Chocolate Hills their famous name and creating one of the most symmetrical landscapes on Earth. Each hill stands between 100 and 400 feet tall, and they're spread across 20 square miles in perfect formation. The hills are so uniform in shape and size that they look artificial, like someone built an enormous model landscape using the same mold over and over again. Scientists believe these hills formed underwater millions of years ago from coral reef deposits that were slowly lifted above sea level. Wind and rain then eroded the limestone in a very specific pattern, carving away the softer rock while leaving these harder formations behind. What makes this process so mysterious is the incredible uniformity of the results. Normal erosion creates random, chaotic shapes, but here it produced over 1,700 nearly identical hills arranged in perfect rows. Local legend tells a different story, that the hills are the tears of a giant who cried for his lost love, or the remains of a great battle between two giants who threw rocks at each other. The mathematical precision of their formation continues to puzzle geologists who struggle to explain how nature created such perfect symmetry. Wave rock. In Western Australia stands a stone formation that looks like a massive ocean wave frozen just before it crashes to shore. Wave rock rises 50 feet high and stretches 350 feet long, with a curved overhang that creates the perfect illusion of a tsunami captured in time. The rock face is streaked with dark bands that look exactly like water flowing down a wave, completing the aquatic illusion. Visitors often feel dizzy standing beneath it, as if the massive wave might come crashing down at any moment. This incredible formation began as underground granite that crystallized deep beneath the Earth's surface over 2.7 billion years ago. Over millions of years, the softer rock above eroded away, exposing this granite dome. Chemical weathering then attacked the base of the rock more aggressively than the top, gradually undercutting it to create the wave shape. The dark streaks that look like flowing water are actually mineral deposits left by rainwater that has flowed down the rock face for thousands of years. What makes wave rock truly remarkable is how perfectly it mimics the shape of an ocean wave, despite being hundreds of miles from the nearest coast. The illusion is so convincing that photographers often capture images that look like massive tsunamis threatening the Australian outback. Door to Hell. In the heart of Turkmenistan's Karakum Desert burns a crater that has been blazing continuously for over 50 years. The Door to Hell, or Darvaza gas crater, glows like a portal to another world, especially dramatic against the pitch-black desert night. This fiery pit spans 230 feet across and burns with dozens of individual flames that dance and flicker like demons emerging from the underworld. The crater burns so hot that you can feel the heat from over 160 feet away, and the orange glow can be seen from miles across the desert. This infernal landscape began as a simple geological survey in 1971, when Soviet engineers were searching for natural gas deposits. Their drilling equipment accidentally broke through into a large underground cavern, causing the ground to collapse and creating this crater. Dangerous levels of methane gas began pouring out, so geologists decided to burn it off, expecting the gas to be consumed within days. Instead, the crater has been burning continuously for over 5 decades, fed by vast underground gas reserves that seem to have no end. What makes the Door to Hell truly eerie is how it transforms the surrounding desert into an alien landscape. The constant flames create their own weather system, with rising hot air that distorts the view and creates dancing heat mirages that make the crater appear even more supernatural. Stone Forest. In China's Yunnan province, limestone pillars tower up to 100 feet high, creating the illusion of a forest made entirely of stone. The stone forest, or Shailan, covers over 100 square miles with thousands of these gray towers that look like petrified trees reaching toward the sky. Narrow pathways wind between the pillars, creating a maze where visitors can easily become lost among the towering stone formations. Some pillars are thin as telephone poles, while others are massive columns that could house entire buildings inside their shadows. These stone trees began forming underwater 270 million years ago, when the area was covered by a shallow sea. Layer upon layer of marine organisms died and compressed into thick limestone deposits. As tectonic forces pushed the seafloor above water, slightly acidic rainwater began dissolving the limestone in vertical cracks. Over millions of years, this process carved deep channels between harder sections of rock, leaving behind these towering pillars. The process continues today, with each rainfall slowly reshaping this stone wilderness. What makes the stone forest particularly mystical is how it creates its own ecosystem. Rare plants grow in the crevices between stones, while unique species of animals have adapted to live among these vertical stone columns, creating a habitat unlike anywhere else on Earth. Blue holes. Scattered across the Bahamas' shallow waters are perfectly circular sinkholes that plunge into darkness like portals to the ocean's depths. These blue holes appear as deep blue circles surrounded by the bright turquoise of shallow water, creating bullseye patterns visible from space. Some blue holes drop over 600 feet straight down, their walls lined with ancient stalactites and cave systems that formed when sea levels were much lower. The contrast between the shallow, sunlit waters and these deep, mysterious caverns creates an almost supernatural appearance. Blue holes formed during ice ages when much of Earth's water was locked in glaciers, causing sea levels to drop by hundreds of feet. During these periods, rainwater carved vast cave systems through the limestone bedrock. When the ice melted and sea levels rose again, these caves flooded, creating the underwater sinkholes we see today. The circular shape comes from the way water dissolves limestone. It attacks weak points in the rock and gradually widens them into perfect circles through a process that can take millions of years. What makes blue holes truly extraordinary is what lies hidden in their depths. These underwater caves contain perfectly preserved ancient formations and unique species that have evolved in complete darkness, creating ecosystems that exist nowhere else on our planet. Fairy chimneys. In Turkey's Cappadocia region, thousands of cone-shaped rock formations topped with dark stone caps create a landscape that looks like a fairy tale village built for giants. These fairy chimneys, or Pamukkale in Turkish, range from small spires to towering columns over 130 feet tall. Each formation has a distinctive mushroom shape with a narrow stem supporting a wider capstone, making them look like enormous stone umbrellas scattered across the valleys. Early Christians carved churches, homes, and entire underground cities into these formations, creating one of the world's most unique architectural landscapes. The fairy chimneys began forming millions of years ago when volcanic eruptions covered the region in layers of ash and lava. Over time, harder basalt rocks formed protective caps over softer volcanic tuff beneath. As wind and rain eroded the landscape, the soft rock wore away quickly, while the hard caps protected the stone beneath them, creating these distinctive mushroom shapes. The process continues today, with some chimneys growing taller, while others collapse when their caps finally fall off. What makes Cappadocia truly magical is how humans have adapted to this geological wonderland. For over 1,000 years, people have carved elaborate cave cities into the fairy chimneys, creating underground churches decorated with ancient frescoes and multi-level homes that stay cool in summer and warm in winter, proving that sometimes the most mysterious landscapes make the perfect places to call home. These 15 mysterious landforms prove that our planet still holds secrets we're only beginning to understand. From rocks that move by themselves to mountains painted in impossible colors. What's even more incredible is that scientists are still discovering new mysteries hiding in plain sight, with deep-sea explorers finding underwater formations that make these land-based wonders look ordinary by comparison. The door to hell has been burning for over 50 years now, and geologists still can't predict when it will finally burn out. Some say it could continue for another century, while others believe the underground gas reserves might be endless. But here's what they're not telling you about what they found in the deepest parts of that crater.